Hi, it's Serena from Highly Recommended Books, and I'm so excited to be here today to tell you how and why I recommend Stargazer by Hillerman. Now, you probably are thinking to yourself, Hillerman, that sounds kind of familiar. Well, it should be, because her father was Tony Hillerman. He's passed away now, but Tony was the author of a long-standing, very popular series of books that feature several different characters who are tribal police officers on the Navajo Nation. And the Navajo Nation is primarily in the Four Corners region of this country. The Four Corners region is where Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah all come together in a point. I've actually been there. It's kind of cool if you ever want to go. Big metal dial set into the ground, and you can stand with your feet and hands in 4 different states at the same time. Now, I listened to this book as opposed to reading a hardback, and I have to tell you, the narrator does a fabulous job of giving us the sense of the Navajo language, the tonality of it. He speaks the words very fluently, and to make it easier for us readers, she does have a glossary at the back of the book. So she's using the same characters that her father created, but she's made them her own. And I loved that because I was familiar with them, but there was a new nuance to them because she's not her father and she's writing 20 years, 30 years later. But if you are interested at all in learning about all of the problems afflicting the Navajo Nation and indigenous peoples in our country, this series of books, and this is the 6th in the series that she's written, are really a great gateway into learning about these people. And she deals a lot in this story with the problems that affect all of the indigenous nations in our country, which is the violence directed towards women and the fact that so many of these women are dying and being seriously injured, and no one seems to care, and there's very little being done to find the perpetrators of all these crimes. And there are task forces, which is alluded to in the book, national task forces trying to rectify this terrible tragedy. Anyway, when you read Stargazer, you will wonder, I think initially, well, why is it called Stargazer? Well, the crime in this story takes place regarding a scientist and the specific locale of the town of Socorro, New Mexico. And that's where the Very Large Array Radio Astronomy Telescope is located. And that's looking for signs of life in the universe. And it's a really cool place, big, huge radio telescope there. And you can go and visit it. And in the book, there are actually visitors who take a tour and learn all about it. So I really enjoyed that facet of the book as well. The main character is a Navajo police officer, as are all of the characters. She's in an unenviable position of having her husband be her interim temporary boss, which creates a lot of friction in their relationship. She's tasked with a lot of the everyday things that a police officer has to do, which is complicated by the fact that the Navajo Nation is so large and so spread out and so sparsely populated that just to go and interview someone could take 4 or 5 hours of driving to get to that location. So in addition to the normal job duties that she has, in this story, she's also tasked, or gives herself the task, of finding out what happened to her very good college girlfriend who has disappeared and ultimately is charged with a murder. And she has to solve that murder while she's doing everything else she needs to do. And I loved this story. It was interesting. There's a lot of discussion about stargazing and astronomy. You learn lots of Navajo words. And the characters, especially as a female, I could really relate to all of the women in the story. And I like the men as well. So I highly recommend this book. Go buy it. You will love it. And if you want to read my full written review, go to my website, highlyrecommendedbooks.com, or look on Instagram. You'll find me. Have a great day, and I hope you get a chance to read tonight.